Tucked along the cliffs of Malibu and hidden in the canyons of California are some of the most imaginative, sculptural homes in American architecture. Their creator wasn't trained at a prestigious university. In fact, he barely had formal training at all. But his work changed the landscape of California modernism forever. Today, we're diving into the world of Harry Gesner, a self-taught American architect whose iconic homes danced with nature, defied convention, and captured the soul of the California coast. Harry Gesner, the maverick architect. Harry Gesner was born in 1925 and raised in Southern California. While his contemporaries studied under masters in architectural schools, Gesner learned through doing. His knowledge of architecture came from personal exploration, military service, and a deep, almost mystical connection to the landscape around him. After serving in World War II as a member of the 10th Mountain Division, Gesner returned to California and briefly studied under Frank Lloyd Wright at Towson West. But formal study wasn't for him. Instead, he embarked on a path of intuitive design, creating homes that were in harmony with their environment, using natural materials, and emphasizing bold, expressive shapes. What set Gesner apart was his organic approach to architecture. He didn't just design buildings, he listened to the land, let it speak, and responded with structures that felt like they had always belonged there. Let's explore 5 of Gesner's most iconic and innovative projects. These homes aren't just residences, they're landmarks of imagination and craft. The Wave House, 1957, Malibu, California. Arguably his most famous work, the Wave House in Malibu was designed for surfer and artist Jerry Cooper. Built directly on the beach, the house mimics the motion of ocean waves. Its curved, vaulted rooflines resemble the crest of a breaking wave, while its wooden glass shell lets the Pacific Ocean flood into the interiors. Legend has it that Gesner sketched the design while floating offshore on his surfboard, observing the coastline. Whether myth or fact, the story perfectly captures Gesner's hands-on, experimental approach. The Wave House was so visionary that it inspired the design of another legendary structure, Sydney Opera House. In fact, architect J.R.N. Utzon reportedly saw photographs of the Wave House before creating his iconic design. The Sandcastle House, 1970, Malibu, California. Built for himself and his wife Nan Martin, the sandcastle is part home, part sculpture. Constructed almost entirely by hand, with salvaged materials including telephone poles and driftwood, this house feels like something out of a fantasy novel. Its cylindrical towers, ship-like woodwork, and spiral staircases give it a whimsical, almost medieval appearance. Yet it remains completely grounded in its beachfront context. With porthole windows, wood-shingled curves, and a sun-drenched courtyard, the sandcastle is a deeply personal space, equal parts home, workshop, and artistic sanctuary. Boathouses, 1966, Hollywood Hills, California. Hovering over the Hollywood Hills like a fleet of futuristic ships, Gesner's boathouses are a series of dramatic, cantilevered homes built into the steep hillsides of Woodrow Wilson Drive. The idea was radical. Build homes that extend away from the hill, floating above the canyon. These wooden structures are narrow, aerodynamic, and feature large expanses of glass that seem to disappear into the air. With exposed trusses, minimal supports, and an almost aeronautical design, the boathouses are a triumph of mid-century engineering and creativity. They remain some of the most sought-after properties in Los Angeles. Scantlin House, 1965, Tarzana, California. Commissioned by musician John Scantlin, this sprawling home in the San Fernando Valley embodies Gesner's ability to blend modern architecture with rustic elegance. Featuring post and beam construction, high vaulted ceilings, and walls of glass that open onto lush gardens, the house is a serene escape from urban life. A central sunken living room, stone fireplace, and indoor-outdoor flow give it an earthy warmth rarely seen in modernist homes. What's most remarkable about the Scantlin house is how livable and inviting it remains, despite its unconventional shape and bold details. Another hillside masterpiece, the Cole House was designed with the same innovative spirit as the boathouses. Built into the rugged terrain, the home features angular planes and sweeping lines that jut into the skyline like wings. The Cole House shows Gesner's interest in dynamic forms. Its structure is both aggressive and graceful. With dramatic cantilevers, panoramic views, and interiors bathed in light, the Cole House is a showcase of what 1950s California modernism could become in the hands of a true original. The Raven's Eye Home. Tucked away in the rugged landscape of Topanga Canyon, Raven's Eye is a lesser-known gem that reflects Gesner's fascination with mystery, mythology, and flight. Designed to resemble a bird in mid-flight, the home's outstretched wings curve around the hills, embracing the landscape. Built primarily of glass, steel, and stone, Raven's Eye feels at once grounded and soaring. Its central living space features exposed wooden beams that fan out like feathers, while panoramic windows frame views of the canyon like a moving painting. Raven's Eye is perhaps one of Gesner's most symbolic works, fusing architectural imagination with spiritual and environmental sensitivity. Eagle's Watch, Malibu, California. If the Wave House was inspired by water, Eagle's Watch was born from the air. Built high atop a Malibu bluff, this home is designed to resemble an eagle in flight, its curved rooflines and pointed extensions mimicking wings spread in motion. The house wraps around a central courtyard and pool, with interior spaces fanning outward like feathers. Each room is angled to capture specific views of the coastline, sunrise, or mountains. Large windows open the home to natural light and air, creating a seamless flow between inside and out. What truly set Harry Gesner apart was his attunement to nature. While many mid-century architects prioritized function, minimalism, and international style, Gesner looked to the earth, its curves, rhythms, and energy, for inspiration. He often began a project by visiting the site multiple times, observing the sun, wind, and natural contours. From there, he would sketch freehand, without grids or formal plans, often letting the building grow from the environment itself. His homes frequently used reclaimed or natural materials, redwood beams, stone, and repurposed wood. His roofs echoed the curves of hills or waves. His interiors flowed like organic organisms rather than boxy floor plans. He was an environmentalist before the word was fashionable, a true believer in sustainable building and design harmony. It's natural to compare Harry Gesner to John Lautner, another brilliant Southern California architect who made waves in the mid-20th century. Both men shared a love of dramatic forms, futuristic structures, and site-specific designs. But their philosophies diverged in key ways. Lautner, a disciple of Frank Lloyd Wright, approached design with geometric rigor. His homes were often technical marvels, fluid yet precise, engineered with obsessive detail. Lautner's designs were rooted in theory and architectural lineage. Gesner, by contrast, was more intuitive, even mystical. Where Lautner was about structure, Gesner was about story. He designed homes like poems, narrative spaces that responded to nature with emotion rather than logic. While Lautner might craft a home to hover like a spaceship, Gesner's homes grew from the earth or curled like driftwood in the sand. Yet, both architects deeply respected the relationship between building and landscape. In this, they were kindred spirits, rebels who refused to let architecture become sterile or standardized. If Gesner's home seemed to swirl, stretch, and undulate like something out of a dream, you're not imagining things. In fact, there are clear echoes of Antoni Gaudí in Gesner's work. Like Gaudí, the Spanish master behind the Sagrada Familia, Gesner believed that architecture should imitate nature, not oppose it. Both men favored curves over angles, organic shapes over rigid forms. Look at the Sandcastle house with its seashell-like towers and handcrafted feel. It wouldn't be out of place in a Gaudí streetscape in Barcelona. And like Gaudí, Gesner often worked outside of the architectural mainstream, embracing eccentricity and craftsmanship over uniformity. Both architects were romantics at heart, building not for the masses, but for the soul. Harry Gesner passed away in 2022 at the age of 97, but his legacy is alive in every curve, every cantilever, and every California sunset that shines through one of his oceanfront windows. He showed us that you don't need a degree to be a master, that intuition, passion, and a love of the land can guide great design. In a world of square boxes and sterile glass towers, Gesner's homes remain wild, alive, and free. Architects today are revisiting his work not just for style, but for substance, for the belief that architecture can coexist with nature, tell stories, and make us feel alive in our surroundings. Harry Gesner's work had not only practical goals. His projects are testament to what is possible in architecture. His creations will inspire many generations ahead of him and will stand as an example, that man-made things can also be beautiful, like nature.